Hello my friends, this is Colleen in my craft corner, and Paper Paws is with us today, and he says, give our video a paws up. Oh, I just smashed his head in. Anyways, he's my cute little critter that my husband gave me a long time ago. Today's color is green. We are doing the Hop base pages in full color, and every couple days we have a different color that we work with. This Hop is sponsored by Ginger from Ginger's Corners, and down below you'll see the link to the playlist so that you can watch all the creators that are making videos. And I can tell you that the way we each approach this is very different, so you'll get lots of inspiration. So go watch their layouts and enjoy them. I know I've gotten a lot of inspiration from watching them, and that is what to tell you. Every couple of days we will have a new color where we take our scraps and we make base pages. I a lot of times start with white cardstock. I ink the edges in peeled paint, and I put a border around it because a lot of my layouts do have borders. And so I have this green scrap that I want to go ahead and put in the center. And I have this very thin piece of paper, but it works when you are doing layering. I have this very citron looking green check. I'm just going to pop it over the polka dot paper, line it up, and I will get the edges down when I actually glue the edges down and seal them down when I make the layout. And then in my paper strips, I found this sticker with the birds on it and this light piece of green paper. And I found this paper strip that had the flowers and dots, and I inked the edges in peeled paint, and I am going to use them to separate the colors. And since I know I really want them stuck down, I am going to go ahead and do that. This one comes up to the top, and I'm going to scooch this down a little bit. I keep the red there, you may have wondered, because I need to have a good idea of where my camera is looking and how the shots are. And I can see that that is not straight. I thought if I lined it up with that paper, it would be straight, but it wasn't. So that time it looks straight. Okay, and it's on the edges, and then this one is going to go down here. Sometimes it's easier for me if I rotate the paper, especially, sorry if I wasn't squared up on the film. I need to have it a little bit closer to me so I can line it up the way I would like it. And so that is going to be my first base page. And when I look at my base pages, because as you know from my previous videos, I am very new to them, and I think, you know, I can have an embellishment cluster here and a title here. I see that very easily. I also know that I could overlap 2 4x6 photos, and I'm not going to mat them on white, but this is just the easiest color for me to cut up and have when I'm playing, to know what sizes I want my, if I need to cut my scraps down, or how I want to put them together. I also know that I could use 3x4 photos. I could put some this way, and you know, like I said, embellishment cluster, title across here, embellishment cluster, an embellishment cluster here, an embellishment cluster here, a little journaling there. So those are a couple ideas. And so that is my first base page that I'm going to make with you today. My second base page has a solid green background, and on it I am going to put this piece of paper. Seem to have lost some paper. Okay, I'm going to put this piece of paper over here as a solid piece. I want this piece of paper, and I made a banner, and I had this big circle. And then I had, and I don't know where it went, I thought I had some pieces to go over here. So let me pause the camera and see where those pieces are. Okay, my friends, I am back, and I found two pieces that match this paper that if I want to at the end I will put over here on the side. So I have inked all the edges. I started with this colorful piece of paper that I have had in my stash for a very, very long time. And I'm just going to loosely glue these down. But I need to have a little bit of an idea where I had it. Had it right about, thought I would put it right about there and make sure that the top and bottom are even out. And then I have this, just a plain green strip, and it's blue on the back, and it was in my green paper strips. And so, that blue does not match. And so I thought I would then put this strip down and give it like an inch of a border there and make it equal at the top and bottom. I picked this bright pink border, and these borders are two-toned, and I dovetailed the ends, and I just want to overlap that probably about a half an inch is what it looks like. And I want to make sure that the top and bottom are equally spaced as far as how much is showing on each end. And so I'm gonna turn it because that works best for me. When you're short, you just can't quite see up at the top. I don't know how many of you are short and have that problem. So rotating it seems to be easier. And what I'm trying to do is get the the indent here about at the top and bottom of the paper. So I'm gonna line that up to about there. Give it a good half inch. That looks pretty straight. Yeah, and so that's where I want it. And then this, let me get that into frame nice and straight. This paper and this paper was in my real craft closet, okay? And in my real craft closet, I recently found a bunch of paper scraps that I did not know were there. And this is what inspired the colors of the layout. This bright pink pulled in this strip, and this color pulled in this, and the little cut apart, and I don't want that in the middle. I instinctively put it in the middle because I've been putting everything towards the middle. I want it up to the top a little bit so that I can put a embellishment cluster and maybe a title here And so I was thinking I could have 2 4x6 layouts. And so I could have a title up here. I could have an embellishment cluster here and here. And if I wanted to, I could put some more of this paper over here as an accent, but I'll know more when I do the photos, because not just 2 4x6 photos would work on this layout, but I could also put, if I wanted, a couple of 4x4s. And then maybe a 3x4 there. Or you could go ahead and put, I think, 1, 2, 3 4x4s. And I probably would make sure that they overlap some. And of course they would be the photos would be mounted on a different color. You could have like a journal card there, or you could have a 3x4 decorative card there. And so that's kind of how I envisioned that layout. So that is base page number 2 in green. And I have a third one for you. I have this kind of, I don't know what color you would call that. It's not celery green, but it's green. It's a lighter green. Let's go with that, Colleen. And so with this one, I found this big piece of paper, and I inked all the edges in my peeled paint. And I want to put it right in the middle of the page. So I'm going to loosely put it in the middle of the page so I can tuck some things under it. And so I'm just going to line it up. And yes, I just kind of eyeball my edges, but there was a long, long time before I ever heard of a ruler to help you line them up. And so I have been creating probably for over 20 years before I purchased one, and I still just generally do better with my eye. And so my thought here is to tuck these 2 pieces in the edges. And so I inked all around the edges of them, and I just want to make sure that the leaves are going in the direction, because this looks like just little rows of leaves that I want it. And tuck it under, make sure it's kind of balanced on the top and bottom. And how many of you watched Miss Janet from RTS Scrapbooking, and she would make sure an odd number would show, and so there's 5 showing, and that probably was just happenstance with me, but I used to love to watch her videos, and there still are a lot that you can watch on YouTube. And so if you've never watched Janet from RTS Scrapbooking, you're really in for a treat, because she really has taught many of us lots of different things. And so here I will probably use the ruler just to show me where the bottom of this other piece of paper strip needs to go. But sometimes I even eyeball that. And let's see, how much do we have here? I want to have it like this. And so I have a little less paper showing on this side than the other side, but that's okay. We're using scraps, and I cut that scrap in half. And then I found in my craft closet, which I am going to be doing a video series on about what I found in my craft closet, because I found there's a lot of stuff in that closet and I have never showed it before. I found these frames, and I thought, well, they'd be very pretty on this layout, and I could see putting, I don't think a 4x4 photo would fit in them, because this is 4x4, and so it's probably 4x4 itself. So I would take and do a 3.5 by 3.5 photo and put them there. So just picture those as 3.5 by 3.5 and the whole frame is showing. And then over here, I could put a 4 by 6 photo if I wanted, over to the side. I could do, you know, a title. I could put a title down the side, journal cluster. I could do a journal cluster here, a journal cluster here, and a journal cluster down here. Or an embellishment cluster. Use your words, Colleen. An embellishment cluster here, here, excuse me, and here, and a journal box here. Or you could use a 3 by 4 embellishment card. Okay. There's lots of different things that we could do with this layout. So you could actually put a photo and frame the photos, and then you could put, or you could put one big 4 by 6 photo over here, and you could use these 4 embellishment clusters. You could rotate it, and you could put tuck a photo here. Well, it won't tuck under, but you could put the photo there. You could rotate it and have it this way. So I figure there's lots of ways I could use this base page. Sorry for my voice, it's a little scrappy today, but I wanted to get this layout, or get this video filmed. So I hope that you have enjoyed watching base pages in full color, the color green. This is my second base page. Still have one of my little photo placers there, and this is base page number 1. So my friends, excuse me. So my friends, I hope that you have time to get in your craft corner today, and I hope that you give base pages a try. This is the most base pages I have ever made is in this series. So bye, my friends.